By now, you've most likely heard this esoteric term mentioned somewhere, perhaps on the radio while you were listening to some good tunes, on the TV while you were killing some time, or you just saw it somewhere on your timelines, people talking about it. Yes, that's right, Fourth Industrial Revolution. But the question is, what is the Fourth Industrial Revolution? And why should you give a damn? Stick around and maybe I'll tell you. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I will get some spinach. It's a change. It's a change in the way we do things. What? Did you just say change? Whoa. I hate change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Alright, wait. I hear what you're saying. Change isn't always welcome. But it isn't always a bad thing either, especially in this case with the Fourth Industrial Revolution. See, the reason why we're changing the way we do things is because the tools with which we do things are beginning to change. We're now able to do more with less and faster. Take, for instance, networking, socializing. We Facebook, we Skype, we tweet. Or, for example, learning. Now, if you want to learn anything, you don't necessarily have to go to the library because you have an internet connection. And Google. Take, for example, retail, selling. Now, instead of having to go to the store, you can buy online as long as you don't mind a wait of a couple of days depending on the retailer. See, in our human history, the tools we've been using have been evolving and evolving. That's how we got to where we are right now. And progressing. So let me tell you a little story called history. See, before the 18th century, life was kind of slow. Back then, we were an agrarian society whose economy was largely based on agriculture, meaning you pretty much grew what you needed to eat and produced with your own hands most of what you needed. Until sometime in 1712, an engineer named Thomas Newcomen decided we might need to speed things up a little. So he invented the first prototype steam engine. He invented an engine that would produce more work with less people and faster. But then, of course, it wasn't that fast until sometime in the middle of the 18th century. James Watt came along and decided to improve upon the invention of the steam engine, and he made a much better performing steam engine that took off, and people loved it like this. People in industries started using steam engines to do certain work. Wait, other people thought, you know what, we could also use a boost in certain areas. So a series of inventions around the middle of the 18th century began what was the first industrial revolution. Sometime in the later half of the 1800s, the 19th century, inventions began to slow down. It was then in the later half of the 1800s that the second industrial revolution began, when more inventions came along that sped up certain processes and activities. Inventions like the telephone and the automobile. But like all good things, the second industrial revolution eventually came to an end in 1914 as inventions began to slow down. But then it was later on in that same century, around 1969 or 1970s, that the third industrial revolution would begin. Now this industrial revolution was the one of computers, the information age, some call it. With the invention of transistors and microprocessors, suddenly computers became smaller and cheaper, so much so that they became household goods now. Being that it was so much more effective, people switched from keeping records and information in analog and traditional forms to digital forms on CDs, computers, tapes, and such. It was also around this time, specifically in the 1990s, that the internet was made publicly available to individuals. And now, here we are, at the Fourth Industrial Revolution, So as you see, mankind has gone through many industrial revolutions. So this one is nothing new. That's why it's the fourth one. And so we find ourselves in the midst of an industrial revolution characterized by artificial intelligence, robots, and 3D printing, as well as the internet and Internet of Things, of course. And there you have it. That, in essence, is the fourth industrial revolution and why you should care about it. So I'm curious, what do you think society is going to look like 5 years from now? Do you think that you're ready for the fourth industrial revolution? Are you tech savvy? Do you know your way around the internet? Or do you think that this is all one big robot coming after you? Okay, so it looks like I did tell you what the fourth industrial revolution is after all. But I also got some spinach. So thank you for watching my video. Now before you go, please do like, subscribe, comment, and then have a good day. In that order.